Hello and welcome to MyCustomXbox.com's tutorial on deciding what type of paint to use. This is our second go at this. We've been educated a little bit, and so just want to kind of go over everything. First off, there still are three basic types of paint that you're going to want to use. Regular spray paint, the Fusion Krylon plastic bonding spray paint, and the Duplicolor vinyl fabric dye. Those also go in the order of difficulty to work with. So let's start off by talking about regular spray paint. So we have a can. This is just primer and everything. Let's say you've just got spray paint sitting around and you want to use that. Well, it's not going to adhere to the actual plastic coating on the controller very well. So we've found out through our friends at Duplicolor that they actually make this product here. It's for getting any type of paint to adhere to plastic. So you can use any type of paint after you use this Adhesion Promoter. The part number is a CP199, and you should be able to find this at any auto parts store. This is probably going to be the easiest way for you to use whatever paint you have. We haven't done a controller with this yet, but we're looking to do one. Then you can use all the metal flake, any kind of paint you want after this, and it should turn out great. We're excited to try this, but that's what you should be using if you're going to use enamel spray paint and just anything. We've got a lot of questions about different types of spray paint. This is the ticket. Next up, let's talk about the Fusion Krylon. We love Fusion Krylon here. It's very easy to work with, bonds well. I've personally read that people don't like it. They say it's junk. I don't think that those people have prepped the controller properly. It always amazes me when somebody will, bring a controller and say, "Hey, I've already cleaned it. Don't worry about it." And we all laugh about it here because you open it up and we just had one this last week with ketchup inside of it, and I'm like, okay, that obviously couldn't have been cleaned that well. But up until now, the problem with Krylon has been, the Fusion paint especially, has been that there is no clear coat. But hot off the presses for 2009, you probably cannot find this yet, but it's going to be released by the end of the month, is Krylon Fusion Clear Coat. And we were fortunate enough to talk to them today, and they hooked us up with 3 cans of it so we can test it out and see how it goes. But this is going to be in limited supply, probably till the halfway through the year, so till June of 2009, and then Walmart, Kmart, Ace, everybody should start having this. But they just released it. Hardly anybody has it. You have to really talk to somebody to find out, and we'll put up some details on where you can go to call and find that stuff. But essentially, you'd have to go to a Sherwin-Williams store and special order it, most likely, because a lot of them do not carry it yet. They're just shipping it from the factory right now. But that makes this Krylon paint that much more usable. And the beauty of the Krylon is that if you prep the controller properly, it actually goes on there really nicely. I mean, it's made to stick to the plastic, to adhere to it, and to actually almost dye the plastic. It absorbs itself, and it's a super bond is what they call it. And then now you'll have the benefit of doing the clear coat, which protects it, because people have claimed that this chips. I think if you prep the controller properly, you do a good paint job, and we're going to talk about the painting process. Of course, we've got all those videos coming out, but the key to a good paint job essentially is lots of thin coats of paint. Don't overspray anything, and this Krylon Fusion makes that really easy because it coats really well. And then now you'll have a clear coat to go with it. Last but not least, which is the most difficult to work with, is the Duplicolor vinyl and fabric coating. Now this stuff theoretically it's a lacquer base. It's a flexible lacquer, so there is no clear coat that will work well with it. But if you are going to use a clear coat, you have to use this. Do not use the enamel. We've talked to everybody about using this acrylic enamel. That is the wrong one. That will actually make this crack. It'll make the Krylon Fusion crack. It's not right for this stuff. So this is a lacquer-based paint, and you need to use, if you're going to shoot a clear coat on the vinyl fabric stuff, the Acrylic Lacquer. Okay, it's the blue can, not the black can. And all of these things are found in your typical auto parts store, AutoZone, Kragen, whatever you guys have there. The part number on this is a DAL1695, and that's what Duplicolor has recommended. You get really cool stuff coming out of this. I don't want to touch this because it's not totally finished yet, but here's the racing stripe one that we're doing right now. Just so you know, coming up in the next couple weeks, we've got a representative from both these companies that are going to come do like a little podcast with us, so we can show you guys that and answer a bunch of the questions from the factory, from the manufacturers of these paints, so that you can understand exactly what their use is for and whether or not they recommend this and that. But we're lining that up right now. We should be posting those videos hopefully within the next, I would say, 2 weeks. And just remember, if you want to use basic spray paint, because we've gotten a ton of emails about this, Adhesion Promoter from Duplicolor. Go get this. This is the ticket. If you want to spray paint anything, your buttons, your everything, this is what you want to use if you're not going to use a special paint. And we'll talk more about the actual painting itself in the next videos coming up. But this has been a real popular video, and I just want to make sure that everybody knew, you know, these are your 3 choices essentially. And I would say this is the easiest to use, just simply because you can apply it and use anything. This is the second easiest to use because it actually has this stuff built into it, so it absorbs and bonds to the plastic. This one takes forever. Controllers turn out really nice, and they seem to be really scratch resistant. But this one takes a lot of thin coats. Very hard to coat with that. There is one point I'd like to make real quick about all of these. Everybody keeps asking about the tacky feel, and I just want to reiterate, the best thing for the tacky feel is time, and time to cure the paint, because the paint, you know, you can touch it after an hour. A lot of these talk about it. It's dry to the touch, but the paint itself is not cured yet. So you want to make sure that you give that paint plenty of time, and that would be at least a week. So you don't want to go playing with your controller for a week when you do this. Hopefully you have a secondary controller that you can use during that time. But, you know, if you can put it before it's all assembled back together, if you could put it out in the sun for a few hours and just, you know, you don't want to kill it in the middle of the Mojave Desert, but just let that heat cure the paint and harden it. That really helps promote it also to get that curing process done. So if you're doing it inside, if you're you know, if it's too cold, I understand. Make sure you spray the paint when you need to, when you have the right temperature. But also just make sure that if you can give it the chance to cure, it's going to turn out great. It's going to get really hard, which is what you want. You want a hard shell protecting that paint. Anyway, once again, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, just go to MyCustomXbox.com. We're busy trying to get everything up and running, and we appreciate you watching. Thanks, and have a great day.